Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be building a real-world proof of concept app using Cloudflare's Edge network and their modern stack to build a parking enforcement application. I'm actually building this because I have literally 24 hours to present a demo to a customer, and what I'm basically doing is taking that opportunity to actually build a real-world application live. And the reason why I'm doing this is because these AI tools are changing in such a rapid manner that nobody has a clear path on how to build these things properly at scale. This is my attempt to share some of the things that I've learned personally in approaching this topic of vibe coding. If you're interested in learning a little more about Cloudflare, learning about how to do some vibe coding that you could then turn into a real production app, and experience with the Cloudflare platform technologies, I'll talk about some of the things that I like and some of the things that I don't like, then this video is for you. The goal is so that you could see the overall experience of how I'm approaching building an actual real-world application that you could then ship to production. Just to give some context, I'm a .NET developer. I've been a .NET developer for about 20 years. I'm a traditional client-server type of application developer that has been on the Cloudflare bandwagon, and I'm really embracing the Cloudflare way of doing things. I really like what these guys are doing. I think they're phenomenal in terms of the mind shift that's happening and taking away a lot of the grunt work required to build a real production app at scale. So with that said, some of these tools, I've never actually used them, so we're going to learn them together. I'll talk about what I think about them and my raw experience, and hopefully you'll get some value out of that. Let's just jump right into it and start. This is going to be a bit of a longer series, estimating about 10 videos or so. Some parts are going to be good, some parts are going to be bad, but I'm putting this out in the open for anybody that actually cares about this stuff. Hopefully you'll get some value. If that's something you're interested in, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. So let's just talk about what are we building and what are some of the overall concepts we need to know to get this thing going. Then I'll sort of dive into how I'm going to approach this all together. But first, what I want to do is kind of just level set, just to make sure that you understand the concept. So this is a real world use case that I'm building for. It's a parking enforcement app. I have a client that is a parking enforcement company. They go around to buildings. These buildings have tenants that are in the building. Those tenants have cars that come and visit them, people that visit them on a regular basis. When that happens, the tenant has to go onto a website and reserve the license plate for this particular visitor. And when they do that, once they do a reservation, then this parking enforcement person sends out their ticketing people, and they will go around to the buildings looking for people that did not do the registration. If you didn't do the registration, you're going to get a ticket. So that's the core of the application. At the end of the day, what has to happen is that this person needs to put together a report, send it to the owner, and the owner sends the property manager an invoice. It's not a simple use case, but it's not a super complex in between. It has a lot of moving parts. We're going to try to build an app that supports both the front end of this guy's experience, so the person that's using the app. We're going to build a mobile app that supports this person's experience, the owner of the company, to send these invoices. This is a part of a bigger application that I'm building. What I'm going to do in this series is walk through the process of creating this app and using Cloudflare's backend technology. We're going to walk through the process of creating this app and using Cloudflare technology and this app here. Before we get into building this app, there's a lot of moving parts. We need to do some planning, right? We're going to use AI to go through the entire process from end to end. And with that requires a significant amount of upfront planning in order to get it right. And that's what we're going to try to do in this particular case. So generally speaking, I would go to ChatGPT and I would start to say, hey, I'm building a parking application. This is my goal, etc. We're not going to do that. We're going to go to ChatGPT, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on the voice technology, which basically just gives you this, and hopefully you could see that. And then we're going to talk through the process of building the app altogether. Because the first thing that we need to do is we need some SRDs, software requirement documents. It's the most important thing if you're going to do a vibe coding app. SRD. In the past, this would be something that you would dread. In the vibe coding world, this is something you absolutely must do. Let's just jump right into it. Hey, are you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Great. So I'm building a mobile application for a parking enforcement company. We're going to call it Parking Enforcement App. And I want to build out an experience for 3 different use cases. Number 1 is the owner that lives at a particular unit in a condo that will visit a website or use a mobile app so they could order or reserve a parking ticket for a specific car. They have to put in their license plate number, they have to put in their address details, etc. That's number 1. The second app that I wanted to build is a mobile app for the parking enforcement person that is going to go around, and they're going to basically scan the license plate of each one of the cars. And from there, once they scan the license plate, they're going to be able to see the history of their license plate. And then they're going to decide if they're going to give them a ticket or not if there is no permit on that car. And if there's no permit, they're going to be able to record that they actually issued a parking ticket, or they basically give that person a pass. In other words, they were lenient with the situation and didn't give them a parking ticket, even though they deserved one. And then third, but not least, is for the business owner. The business owner will be able to log into a dashboard where he could see all of the buildings, the property manager, the clients, all of the locations, and he should be able to see the staff member that went out to that particular location, issued the parking ticket. He should be able to generate a report every month of what is actually being done, how many tickets were issued for that particular job, so that he could send it as an invoice. So that's the overall requirements for the app.
That sounds like a really comprehensive app. I love how you've thought through all 3 user perspectives, the condo owner, the enforcement officer, and the business owner. It's definitely going to be a useful tool. If you want, we can break down each of those use cases into specific features and figure out how to implement them step by step.
Okay, so let's do that one by one. Number 1 is I want you to give me the SDR for the property owner or the person that's living in the property. And then you're going to give me an SDR for the staff, that parking enforcement staff. And then you're going to give me an SDR for the business owner.
Start with the property owner. The SDR would focus on allowing them to easily reserve a parking spot. So they would need to be able to enter their license plate number, their address, and any other details, and then confirm their reservation. We can also think about things like a confirmation email or maybe a digital permit that they can show. For the enforcement staff, the focus would be on a mobile app that lets them quickly scan license plates, check the permit status, and either issue a ticket or mark that they were lenient. For the business owner, it would be a dashboard where they can view reports, track all the tickets issued, and generate invoices for their clients. So let's dive into each one and break them down.
The reason why I did that on the mobile app was because it's easy for me to just talk to ChatGPT, the AI, and basically just offload all of my thoughts as raw as I'm thinking about it. I'm offloading that onto ChatGPT. And if you notice, like, it just basically just repeated what I wanted in a more formal way. The primary reason I did that is because I don't have to type it out, but more importantly, I could just natural language the conversation about what is it that I actually want to do, and then have it sort of orchestrated. Now, where ChatGPT kind of breaks down with this process is that I'm going to go to the computer now and I'll show you that conversation. They don't name the titles properly. We want to rename it to Parking Enforcement App. I had this really long conversation. It responded with the thing. The problem is that it doesn't actually give me the SDR. That's the kind of the annoying thing, because what it does is that it basically just responds of what it's going to do, but never actually does the work. This is the problem that I find with ChatGPT. So now I can come in here and type it. Can you give me the SDR for the owner of the building. Okay. So SDR, we're going to get a full requirements document for that. This is the part where when you do the voice, it doesn't actually give you, but that's okay. Now it knows what I'm talking about. So I could just ask very primitive questions and it knows exactly what to do in order to kind of give me that work. So this is what I need because this is super important, right? And it's going to figure out all the details of what actually needs to happen, reservation history, and all that kind of stuff. So that's great. Now, can you give me the SDR for the parking enforcement personnel or staff, however you want to call them? So now, again, it knows, AI also knows what I can do. So query in real time. So ticket issue, pre-fill form, vehicle, select voice violation reason, record GPS submitted, input camera-based scan. It's going to give me all of the SDR details of what I need to do to build that mobile app as well. And now I'm going to say, can you also give me the SDR for the business owner of the parking enforcement company? SDR for business owner parking enforcement company. By the way, if you're wondering what tool that is, I'm using a tool called Wiseflow. Now I have detail for all three of the requirements of what I want to get done. The first thing we're going to do now is take those SDR and create the tenant app. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this SDR. Okay. I'm going to open up a new ChatGPT window because I want to just be a little bit more detail. We'll go with mini high, review this SDR document and create a comprehensive prompt for an AI to build a mobile app. Okay. So we take that SDR. Now we're going to dump it back into the system so that we have more comprehensive, full mock-up of exactly what needs to be done for the mobile app. Also, we're going to be using Cloudflare's backend to store the infrastructure, allow for the app to work with mock data first, and then ensure that we could easily swap to Cloudflare's backend using the appropriate key value, durable function, durable objects, etc. Okay. So again, I'm basically adding more value and putting more specific details of exactly what we're going to be doing to build out that application altogether. So with that, this is what they're giving me. Now, this is a lot of details here that they're giving me, vehicles ID, etc. We're going to scale this back because I don't want to go into all these details. I want to scale back the functionality such that the user will visit the website. They'll be able to input the information. They'll be able to, if they revisit the same website the next day, they'll see a cached version of their information stored in local storage. They could always clear it, but it'll basically store their name, email address, etc., with the exception of the license plate. They'll always have to enter the license plate. And they won't be able to see a history of their previous thing, but they will be able to issue an appeal for a specific car or vehicle in the event that there's a problem. I'm scaling back the requirements because I don't want to go too complex on that side. I'll go with more complexity on the back-end side of things, right? Perfect. So with this, we're going to take this prompt. And go across to bolt.new. And I'm building this in Knox 3. I find Bolt is the best in order to create a initial product pretty fast. So what we can do, actually, you know what? We're going to go to GitHub. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new, we're going to call it parking enforcement. And then if we come back here and refresh, import from parking enforcement, choose directory. Now I'm able to do this properly. Okay, now I can come back over here, copy this. Good. So now where we are is we're going to basically just let Bolt do its thing and create a rough draft of that application for us for the parking. While that's being done, we're going to do the exact same thing for the other two apps. So that was the SCR for the tenant. We're going to do the parking enforcement personnel. Create a detailed prompt using this SDR to create a mobile app. Okay, so we're going to get a detail and we're going to go and create, not a GitHub, parking app enforcement, mobile parking app enforcement. We're going to come back over here. We're going to copy this. And last but not least, we're going to create the backend. Use this SDR to create a AI prompt to create a back office application. Now, see, I was hoping that it would always give it to me like this, but sometimes I get the markdown, sometimes not. Back office for a parking enforcement app. All right. Okay. So I think we're done with our prompting for now. We're going to close this. Okay. So what have we done so far? we have created a mock version of this app for this particular user. We created a mock app for the parking enforcement officer, and we created a mock app for this. In the next video, we're going to download each of them to our computer. We're going to test them and run them just to make sure that they're actually working. And then we're going to kind of go from there. So basically, that's kind of the setup. So this video was really just a setup process to make sure that we got all the pieces in place. I want to just kind of walk through my thought process on how I'm actually thinking about even going about creating these apps at scale. If you notice, we haven't necessarily talked about features or anything. We're just doing infrastructure. By getting the infrastructure and requirements up front, we could jump into code and be very detailed in outlining the implementation details of these apps altogether. So in the next video, we're going to jump into the actual code. We're going to run these apps. We're going to make sure that they're actually working locally. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start testing those against the SDR to make sure that the AI doesn't necessarily go off rails when it's trying to do the actual work itself. Stay tuned for that. If that video is not up, click around the description to see the full details of that. And like I said, please subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. I'll see you in another video. Have a great day.